Let's look at how the process of a co-creation project may get started through an example, using a chart to help us visualize it. The first step in our example is identification. An aspiring co-creator begins to map out what kind of issues they want to deal with, and what kind of knowledge gaps they might have considering the issue. During this phase, an aspiring co-creator may focus on the following questions. What is the market problem or societal challenge I want to solve? What kind of knowledge or insight is needed to sharpen the idea or to deepen the insight? What kind of information I don't have, but I need, to solve the problem? Maybe you have noticed a phenomenon in your everyday life, work, or research that might be worth exploring more. The aim is not to figure out who can solve the issue and how, but to keep an open mind and rather figure out who may have insight that might help address and understand the problem. The purpose is to be creative. Perhaps a group of people directly affected by the issue might help figure out user journeys, to understand specific points where issues occur, or an entrepreneur of a certain field might have the technology required to try to solve the problem. After this, we may move on to clarification. During this phase, inspiration and ideation take place. On a more concrete level, roles, actions, and resources will be defined, and the desired outcome will be discussed. The objective of this phase is gathering insights and choosing strongest solutions. You could, as a team of co-creators, think about things such as: what is the most important problem we want to solve? What do we want to prioritize and focus on? What are the possible ways to approach or solve it? What is our shared vision and purpose to achieve the common goal? Which of the solutions attracts us most to implement? When thinking of possible solutions, a creative method such as brainstorming can be utilized. The partners will, as equals, come up with various ways to approach and solve the problem, using their specific sets of skills and knowledge. The emphasis is on creativity and flexibility. Co-creation enables a way of thinking that utilizes a combination of various sources of knowledge and experience, and each unique point of view can bring valuable information and innovation to the discussion. Once a solution worth exploring more is decided upon, it's time to move on to designing and implementing. The purpose of this phase is not to necessarily create a final product or a solution, but to test the ideas. The main objective is to create a clear project management process. Which solution is the best to implement? What might we need to strengthen the idea? What are the specific actions needed to implement the solution? What is the plan for the future? What would a roadmap for this project look like? Instead of implementing the plan as is, it may be more useful to focus on strengthening and prototyping. During this phase, ideas, solutions, and hypotheses will be tested, with the intent of finding proof of concept. The co-creators will decide which solution is the best to implement and how the idea might be strengthened, and create a project design, or an action plan based on this. Each of these steps may be revisited, and the duration of a co-creation project can last for as long as required. As with any creative process, the process is rarely linear. The main things to keep in mind are the strength of multi-skilled co-creation and the coherence in the project. The aim of this process chart was merely to showcase an example of a co-creation process for the sake of clarity, but as always, processes and projects are as variable as the people implementing them.